After exiting the Oval Office, the Obamas bought a mansion in Martha's Vineyard for $12 million. All presidents leave the office with a significantly higher net worth than before. How does that happen? From 1969 until 2001, the president earned only $200,000 per year. In 2001, the salary jumped to $400,000 per year. If a president is in office for 4 years, they will earn only $1.6 million from salary. How then do they buy estates and private jets with that salary? Truthfully, some entered the office already wealthy, but today we'll focus on how they exponentially grow their net worth after their presidency has concluded. We'll begin with the Obamas, who entered the office somewhere in the middle class and are now multiple generationally wealthy. They clearly have good taste in buying property. The bidding for the rights to books written by former President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama has skyrocketed to more than $60 million according to a report from the Financial Times. Michelle Obama's Becoming is the best-selling book of 2018. The book allegedly sold 17 million copies and remained on the bestseller list for 2 years. Her second book, The Light We Carry, topped the bestsellers list as well. In just 4 years, Michelle alone probably sold 30 million copies of books. At an average price of, let's say, $20, that would be $600 million in revenue. Former President Barack Obama's A Promised Land sold nearly 890,000 copies in the US and Canada in its first 24 hours, putting it on track to be the best-selling presidential memoir in modern history. There's another $30 million in revenue in just 24 hours after release. By the end of the year, it had sold 3.3 million copies in the US and Canada. If each sold for $30, that would mean he generated $100 million in revenue in book sales. By comparison, Bill Clinton's My Life sold around 400,000 copies in North America its first day, and George W. Bush's Decision Points around 220,000, with sales for each memoir currently between 3.5 and 4 million copies. Just imagine how much revenue they'd generate if they had their book in a ClickFunnels campaign with 3 additional upsells. A Forbes article details that Barack made an estimated $8.8 million from the sales of his 2 books, The Audacity of Hope and Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters. Forbes estimated that Barack made around $11 million while in office. This Forbes post details the Obamas' generation of wealth from 2005 to 2016, indicating they had made a lot of money before Barack's second term was finalized. But the real wealth generation seems to happen right after presidents leave the office. In 2018, the couple signed a production deal with Netflix, which is estimated to be $50 million. Just imagine how much a former president could get paid if they produce shows sharing all the secrets they know. Hillary Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, combined to earn more than $153 million in paid speeches from 2001 until Hillary Clinton launched her presidential campaign last spring, a CNN analysis shows. That, my friends, is how you make the real dough. The duo made 729 speeches in total, which averaged out to around $210,000 per speech. The CNN report indicates that the Clintons made $2.25 million for speeches given directly to Goldman Sachs.
So, and a lot of your critics point to is you made 3 speeches for Goldman Sachs. You were paid $675,000 for 3 speeches.
Bill Clinton allegedly made $132 million from his 637 speeches following his presidency. A solid $207,000 per speech. He must be giving some incredible insights to the groups he was speaking to. For the record, count me as someone who doesn't see the value in large group speeches unless the topic is never before been discussed. Hillary made a reported $21.6 million from 92 speeches during her 3-year presidential run before losing the election in 2016. I would love to know what nuggets of wisdom these speakers provide to justify $200,000 for an hour-long speech. I'm not into politics, so I guess I'm not the target audience, but you couldn't pay me to listen to a politician talk on YouTube, let alone go see them speak.
Was that a mistake? I mean, was that a bad error in judgment?
Look, I made speeches to lots of groups. I told them what I thought. I answered questions.
But did you have to be paid $675,000?
Well, I don't know. That's what they offered. So,
I'd take the money too. Have you ever made $200,000 for standing on a stage and talking for an hour? I haven't, and maybe that's why I'm not wealthy yet. Anyone need a speaker, by the way? Because I'll charge you $50,000 and I'll give you a full day. Since 2009, Politico has found Bush has given at least 200 paid speeches and probably many more, typically pocketing $100,000 to $175,000 per appearance. The part-time work, which rarely requires more than an hour on stage, has earned him tens of millions of dollars. Think of how insane this is. The average income in America is somewhere around $50,000. That means for 1 hour of work, 1 hour of talking on a stage, that 1 hour is equivalent to the average income earner working for multiple years, 40 hours a week for years. He was a president for 8 years with monumental storylines, so I'm aware that the average speaker on stage can't match the level of intrigue his stories may garner, but holy smokes. Researching for this video, I was in shock at how many speeches former presidents give. I figured 1 or 2 speeches a year, they'd make $400,000 total, and that's life after the White House. But to find out that there are hundreds of organizations willing to pay $200,000 to listen to a former president made me realize that these ex-presidents must have charisma that I've never seen before. He listed for the Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs in a talk at Tulsa's Hyatt Hotel the 3 best things his father ever gave him: being raised in West Texas, no money, and unconditional love, and then got back into a motorcade of a couple SUVs and cop cars and flew home on a private plane. That's the best finesse I've ever seen. $200,000 to get asked about your life? What an easy career. Obama will soon have the opportunity to make millions more. Bill and Hillary Clinton, who left the White House in debt, earned more than $240 million over the next 15 years, the bulk of it from high-paid speeches and blockbuster book deals. If this video influences any of you to become president and you earn a $250 million, do you mind sending me some? I'll be your scriptwriter. In February 2015, he was at the gala for the Texas homeless shelter at the Intercontinental Hotel in Addison outside Dallas. Sipiora, the executive director of the Samaritan Inn, called Bush's fee of $100,000 a bargain. This sounds like the most American thing you'll hear today. A man getting paid a bargain rate of twice the median income to stand on a stage and give surface-level vague advice about nothing at a convention about homelessness issues. We're a homeless shelter, so it was a hefty fee for us, but we ended up netting over $1 million, said Sipiora. And then I realized that this is a profitable business. I just came up with an idea called From White House to White Collar: How Crime in America Exists at All Levels. Now that, my friends, that idea will make $240 million from a documentary. The Obamas are becoming a billion-dollar brand. Attention is the currency of 2023, and if you have everyone's attention, billionaire status is possible. Prices for Obama's appearance at Brooklyn's Barclays Center next month currently range from $307 to $4,070, which includes a photo with Michelle Obama and a signed copy of Becoming. What I've realized from analyzing the social media landscape for the past few years is if you can make people feel inspired or motivated to improve their lives or just be happy for you and your success, you can charge thousands of dollars to meet them. This US Today article listed George Washington's net worth to be estimated somewhere around $594 million. Of course, anyone's net worth is impossible to estimate, but his salary in 1789 was 2% of the entire country's budget. He left the White House in debt but improved his finances by writing books. Carter and his wife have published more than 30 books. From my research, it appears that writing books and giving speeches is the quickest and easiest path to wealth for ex-presidents. Ronald Reagan made headlines for accepting a $2 million fee to speak in Japan, but responded to criticism of this by declining to schedule other foreign speeches. What in the world are they talking about that warrants a $2 million speaking fee? And that was 30 years ago. But hey, if the market is willing to pay $2 million, then that's what his fee is. Column: How the White House Became a Path to Obscene Riches for Ex-Presidents. That picture doesn't include Trump, who could make just as much money as the previous presidents with how loyal his fan base is and how many organizations would pay him $500,000 or more for an hour-long speech. You may have to endure ugly defamatory comments from anonymous accounts on Twitter for 4 years, but if there's one thing I learned while researching this video, it pays to be an ex-president of the United States of America. Thanks for watching.